and we're definitely going to get so many things wrong, but starting out with good intentions, or even starting out with intentions, you know, actually having thought about it, I feel like we're a step further in the right direction. Hopefully. Hello, and welcome to a new video, guys. Today's is going to be a chat vlog. Now I just need to see what I'm working with here, because this is obviously a brand new little setup. I have you in the window and we can see the unmade bed, we can see the mess. But hey, if I stand here like this, is it distracting? It's fine. Today's video is a little bit different purely because I want to get a gauge. Sorry, that was me kicking the ball pit, because as you guys know, our bedroom is half bedroom, half playroom for Wolfie. So yeah, I'm standing where his ball pit usually is. So I'm wanting to get a gauge on what you guys would prefer to see from me for a little bit. If you enjoy just the weekly vlogs, a day in the life, if you enjoy the sit down chatty videos. So I'm going to do one today on parenting ideas we subscribe to in our family. So I don't think I'm going to go too much into things we don't subscribe to, but I think you're going to get the general feel for our parenting style through the things that we do subscribe to. So I'm just going to quickly grab my notes, have a sip of some water, and we will dive straight into it. All right, okay, so I have spoken to you guys before about how the first year of motherhood is kind of just like grabbing your footing in how to kind of be a mother, how to adapt to this new way of who you are, how to let go of the old person, maybe how to mash the two together, whatever it is for you. It's really swallowing the kind of identity of mother, and then they turn one. And we've all heard the concept of terrible twos or toddlerhood, and you know, you always assume two's when they're going to step into that, but let me tell you, it is not when they will step into it. They turn one and they change. They find out that they can have opinions. They find out that there are boundaries. They find out that if I push mum and dad in these ways, these certain things will happen. Will they always happen? I should keep pushing the boundaries to find out. So it's very interesting. They turn one and they turn into these little people who have little opinions. We really found as soon as he hit one, we had to figure out how we wanted to parent, and it became about parenthood rather than just motherhood. So like I said before, kids, they really like boundaries, even if they push against them. They're pushing against them because they want to know that boundaries are there. They find a sense of safety in knowing that no matter what happens, mum and dad will always be stable. They will always look after me. Even if it is you being like, that is absolutely not okay for you to behave that way, you are grounded, whatever it is, you know, if they're like a teenager. It's the same thing. As kids, we're looking to our parents for stability, for love unconditionally. We're looking for those boundaries that we know no matter what, our parents will always be the same. So that is what your toddler is searching for, and that's kind of what we remind ourselves of whenever we are kind of going down the road of discipline. And we have chosen to look at discipline not as a big scary judgment word. We've chosen to look at it as it's the way you teach your child about the world and about your boundaries, basically. And you're continuously, no matter what, you're continuously disciplining your child in the direction that you hope is going to safely get them through life to be a successful adult, I suppose. So that's kind of where we're coming from with our parenting styles. I want this to be a gauging point on whether or not this is something you enjoy talking about, if it's a conversation starter for you guys, if it's something you would want me to do more of, or if it's just simply a one-off little video and you prefer my vlogs. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so let's just jump straight into my bullet points now that you have a little bit of an understanding of where we're coming from with parenting. So the first thing is family is number one. So I have had to have many conversations with Jessie saying, what's more important to you? Working late, money, not upsetting people at your work site, or is it family? Because for me, I want a family where it's family. I want to be bringing up our kids in a family where they know Dad knows what their favorite sport is. Dad knows they hate broccoli now. Dad's there to bath them at the end of the night. And by no means am I saying that seasonally that won't change, but from a heart level, that's what I want from my husband and from my family dynamic. I always want family to come first. I want it to be more important than money, more important than getting ahead, more important than, keeping everyone else happy, and more important than keeping me happy. I want Jesse to want to be with his kids, and he does, but it's more of like, this is actually a standard now that will always be at the front of your mind. That's what I'm meaning. That's what I want. I want a family where no matter what I'm doing, where I'm going in life, my kids and my husband are the most important. So that's the first one. And that's by no means like, none of these are things that we're like, yep, we do this. These are things that we know we want to work towards. These are goals for our lifetime with our kids and together as a married couple. Cool. Next one is always apologizing, even in front of others. So I always apologize to Wolf if I have been too harsh with him or been too sharp with him when he has been whinging and wanting my attention and I'm busy wanting to do my own stuff. I'm trying to stack the dishwasher, say, and he keeps trying to unstack it, and I'm getting frustrated with him. And so I want to always show him that an apology is always something you do, and it doesn't need to necessarily be this huge apology and fully explaining where you're coming from, although sometimes it can. But with Wolf, it's kind of me crouching down beside him and going, I'm so sorry, honey, that I was so upset with you before. I don't know if you noticed, but I did not mean to speak to you that harshly, and Mummy's working on that. I was just really frustrated because I was trying to do my stuff. And I also do that in front of family inside the house. So, or if we're out of the house or whatever it is, if we're with friends. So I make sure to apologize in front of them to Wolf as well, so that Wolf knows it's not a shameful experience. If he was to apologize to any of them in front of any of us, it wouldn't be a shameful experience, and simply saying sorry shouldn't be hard, and it should come naturally, and it should always be so that you can connect again as individuals with each other and have your relationship. So I would never expect Wolfie to understand all of that on an emotional level, but if I start those things now and we progress through into his adult life, and we always know that I'm just trying to keep my relationship with you really clear and open and full of vulnerability and honesty and no judgment for our mistakes, then I'm absolutely going to do that. It doesn't matter that he's 1.5, those are the things now that will make a difference in 2 years, 10 years, whatever it is. So yeah, we're always apologizing, even in front of other people. Always saying, I love you. Both Jessie and I to each other in front of Wolf, and always saying I love you to Wolf. Again, this is another thing. I just really want him to grow up knowing he's loved, knowing he's perfect, knowing that no matter what he does in life, who he becomes, he's my son and I love him. And that doesn't change if he's good one day, bad the next. It doesn't matter. He's my son. I love him with every single part of me, and I always will. And I want him to know that I love his dad the exact same way. I will never leave his dad. I will always, always love and support his dad. And that's just a family dynamic that we really want to bring our kids up in. And I never want my kids to guess if we love them or not. The next one is kind of goes without saying, but we fight in front of Wolf. And we always will then, if we've had the fight in front of Wolf, we will then try to fix the fight in front of Wolf. To be honest, we don't fight very much. Like proper fights, do you know what I mean? Like we bicker, sure, and like we might offend each other, sure, but like a full-blown fight, it's not often that it would ever really happen around Wolf. But our goal, we've spoken about multiple times, is that we want Wolfie to know how to fight well, because once you're a preteen or a teen, you know, you are navigating relationships, you're navigating manipulation, bullying, oh gosh, peer pressure, all of that sort of stuff. So if you can actually know how to communicate well, respond well, fight well, hopefully stepping into that season of his life, he'll be a little bit better. And we're definitely going to get so many things wrong, but starting out with good intentions, or even starting out with intentions, you know, actually having thought about it, I feel like we're a step further in the right direction, hopefully. Then another thing is really that we really subscribe to communicating. So I've spoken to you guys before about how Jessie and I communicate so much in our marriage. We do not let our communication slip, and if we do, we then will rein ourselves back in and keep ourselves accountable to communication. At the end of the day, if you can't communicate, you cannot connect. And so that's a huge one with Wolf, kind of an umbrella across all the points I've just said. We will always explain things to him. No, you can't you know, be opening that cupboard and pulling everything out, because you might break something, and then if you break something, you might hurt yourself and you might cut yourself on it. That's why I'm going to close that cupboard now, and I'm just going to ask you to step away, and if you can't actually step away, I'm going to have to make you come away because the temptation's a bit much for you. I totally get that. It's so exciting to be in there, but I really don't want you to hurt yourself. You know, it's not just being like, get away from that cupboard, I've told you before. You know, it's kind of, it's annoying, it takes more effort, it takes more energy, but it's like he needs to find his place in the world. He's not trying to be annoying, he's just trying to actually know what boundaries there are and why. And who's setting my boundaries? And are my boundaries always going to be the same? Anyway, so that's our thing. Communication, it's such a key point in our marriage that it just makes sense that it's such a key point in our parenting. We will always try to communicate who we are, why we are the way we are, what we do, that we love him even if he doesn't do it that way, but that we just want to know him and we want to love him and we want to look after him and we want to be there through whatever season there is. So yeah, communication. The next one is we really want to allow Wolf to say no to hugging. Family members or even us, if he wanted to. We want him to know about his autonomy, his safe space, his boundaries as he grows up into an adult, or, you know, not an adult. I keep saying it as though he's anywhere close to an adult. He's literally not. We want him to know that we're always here. So if he's had a tantrum and he doesn't want to hug yet, I will crouch down beside him and I will say, hey, I know you're still so upset and that's so fine. I'll validate how he's feeling and I'll say, when you want to hug, I am here. Mummy's here. As soon as you want to hug, I am here to hug you. And I always make sure to follow through on that so I don't just then leave him and then whatever. It's like, you know, if he then came over to me a minute later and he was seeming fine, I'd be like, hey, you ready for that hug now? Mummy really wants to hug you after what happened. I love you so much. It's kind of just like being consistent, being really, really aware. And that's tiring, guys. That's so tiring, and I get it. I'm not going to be able to do it every day. Neither are you. We're human, but we have the intentions, you know, and we have the accountability with a partner if you're lucky enough to navigate that together and be like, how did we handle that? Did we handle that as best as we wanted to? But also with allowing him to say no to a hug, it's giving him boundaries with people. You know, so if we come to a family gathering and he's showing signs of, you know, wanting to just stay with me and he can't speak for himself yet, I'll just say, oh, he's just, you know, we'll just let him warm up before, you know, we'll see if he wants to be passed around and hug. He's a little person. I'm so introverted that when I turn up at a party, I don't want to be going around to every single person being like, hey, hey, hey. Sometimes I don't even want to hug at the end of a gathering because I'm so like tapped out, you know? So I get it. He just needs to know that his boundaries of whether he wants to hug people or not is completely up to him, and we will encourage him to feel safe with certain people, but ultimately we do want him to grow up, especially in the times we live in, knowing that he can say no to things that make him uncomfortable. And I'm sure I'm going to have so many more things to do with that topic as life progresses. But yeah, that's a really important one to us. We really allow Wolfie to just be a kid. So it's hard for me. It is hard for me. I'll preface it right now. I'm not perfect at this at all, but I will try to be hands off when we are playing, when he's playing, when Jesse's playing with him, and maybe it's a bit rougher than I would love. You know, I try really hard to allow Wolfie to kind of navigate the world for himself, you know, so he's climbing all over the couches, he's standing up on them. I am obviously telling him, don't do that, it's not safe, but I'm not going to helicopter around because that's just not how the world works, and I'm here to be his guide and to look after him and nurture him 100%. But at the end of the day, he's his own little person. He's a little adventurous go-getter, and I would far prefer to see where he goes in life and do that journey with him rather than me walk him through what I think life should be for him. So I really want him to be his own person, but know that no matter what, I will always be here. So I'm obviously not going to just be like, hey, yeah, there's a cliff, yeah, you go be your own person, haha. You know, there's definitely times when parent mode just comes out full force, but I can't be, you know, standing there at the top of the slide at Chipmunks going, are you sure you want to go down this huge one? Because I'm pretty scared, you know, I don't know. There's a fine line between I don't know, there is a fine line between helicopter parenting and like not letting your child just be and teaching them that they need to be afraid of the world, and also, you know, teaching them that there are certain boundaries and like safeties that they need to take note of. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm gonna stop because the video time has racked right up and I don't want this to be a big long one. But please guys, please let me know if that was interesting to you, if it was anything new that you've never heard of before. Please feel free to share this with any of your friends and family on like social media or whatever it is. One, to help me, and two, to see if it would help any of them with kind of just navigating this new phase. You guys know this is a super safe space here. I definitely have so much to learn. I love learning in a kind way from others, and I definitely, yeah, if you guys really enjoyed this, I will love to do some more. Please do let me know down below. But otherwise, I will see you guys in my next video. If even one thing helped you understand or relate, then I have done my job. Bye guys, I'll talk to you later.